in the quaint town of Harmony, where the streets whispered secrets to the wind and the sun painted golden hues on the horizon, Emily Thompson's childhood unfolded like a cherished melody. Her days were filled with laughter, shared secrets, and the comforting presence of her beloved grandmother, Mrs. Anderson. Harmony, with its tight-knit community and timeless charm, was the backdrop of Emily's idyllic upbringing. Emily was a vivacious teenager with a spirit as untamed as the wildflowers that adorned the hills surrounding Harmony. She found solace in the company of her two best friends, Lily and Sarah, creating memories that would last a life together. They roamed the cobbled streets, explored hidden nooks, and dreamt of a future filled with promise. However, the harmony of Emily's life would soon face discord. Emily's father, Richard Thompson, a skilled ship mechanic, was often away, leaving Emily under the nurturing care of Mrs. Anderson. Despite his physical absence, Richard's presence loomed large in Emily's heart. He would return sporadically, especially on her birthdays, with token gestures that barely scratched the surface of father-daughter bonding. As Emily blossomed into a young woman, the challenges of adolescence began to weave their threads into her life. The tranquil existence she knew in Harmony faced disruption when tragedy struck. Anderson, the cornerstone of Emily's world, departed from this life, leaving behind a void that seemed insurmountable. In the aftermath of Mrs. Anderson's passing, Richard, grappling with grief, decided to uproot Emily from the serenity of Harmony. The once lively streets and the comforting embrace of familiar faces were replaced by the hustle and bustle of the city. Emily found herself navigating a world vastly different from the one she knew. A world that felt alien, cold, and unwelcoming. The echoes of Harmony lingered in Emily's heart as she struggled to adapt to the concrete jungle that now surrounded her. The warmth of her grandmother's stories, the laughter shared with Lily and Sarah, Emily became a silent observer in her own life, yearning for the familiarity that had been abruptly snatched away. As the pages of Emily's life turned, a new chapter unfolded, one where challenges awaited her in the form of an unexpected family dynamic. The introduction of Grace, her stepmother, and Megan, her stepsister, marked the beginning of a tumultuous journey for Emily. Grace, with her polished exterior, portrayed Emily as a difficult teenager, creating rifts within the family fabric. Megan, influenced by her mother's perspective, echoed the sentiment, further isolating Emily in her new reality. In this tangled tapestry of emotions, Emily stood at the crossroads of her past and an uncertain future. The harmony of her childhood seemed like a distant melody, and the challenges posed by her new family dynamic hinted at a storm brewing on the horizon. Little did Emily know that these early struggles would set the stage for a journey of self-discovery, resilience, and the rekindling of the harmonious spirit she thought she had lost forever. As Emily navigated the bustling city with the weight of her new family dynamics, her father, Richard, loomed as a constant enigma. A ship mechanic by trade, Richard's hands bore the calluses of hard work. Despite his physical strength, the emotional distance between father and daughter seemed insurmountable. Richard's job took him to distant shores, leaving Emily in the care of her grandmother, Mrs. Anderson. The rhythmic clanking of tools and the scent of oil became synonymous with her father's absence. Emily yearned for more than the sporadic visits and the fleeting moments of connection that punctuated her birthdays. Birthdays were the rare occasions when Richard, momentarily freed from the shackles of his maritime duties, would attempt to bridge the emotional gap. Yet the attempts were feeble, mere glimpses into the father-daughter bond that should have been. The gifts he brought were symbols of his love. But Emily craved a connection that transcended material tokens. Yet in the quiet moments of solitude, Emily often found solace in the memories of her childhood in harmony. The familiar tunes of Lily's guitar, Sarah's melodic laughter, and Mrs. Anderson's gentle voice telling stories under the starlit sky became a sanctuary for her wounded spirit. Lily and Sarah, her inseparable companions, emerged as the pillars supporting Emily through the storms of life. They shared a passion for music that transcended the spoken word. Lily, with her nimble fingers dancing on the guitar strings, could conjure emotions that words failed to express. Sarah, the voice that harmonized with Lily's melodies, was the embodiment of friendship and unwavering support. Under the tutelage of Mrs. Anderson, the trio discovered the magic of creating music. The old piano in Mrs. Anderson's living room became the canvas for their symphony, each note weaving a tapestry of emotions. The harmony they created echoed the unity of their bond, a bond that seemed unbreakable in the face of life's uncertainties. Despite the challenges Emily faced in her new reality, music remained a beacon of light. It was in the melodies that she found fragments of her old self, the self that revealed in the simplicity of life in harmony. The strains of Lily's guitar and Sarah's vocals became a lifeline, a reminder that even in the cacophony of the city, there existed pockets of tranquility reminiscent of her cherished hometown. As Emily's journey unfolded, the distant melody of her father's presence, the harmonious tunes of her past, and the dissonant notes of her new family dynamic intertwined, creating a complex symphony that resonated with the ebb and flow of life. Little did she know that these seemingly disparate elements would converge in unexpected ways, shaping the harmony she sought in the midst of discord. The stage was set for Emily to confront the melodies of her past, present, and future, and in doing so, find the rhythm that would guide her through the intricacies of life. The haunting notes of loss echoed through Emily's world as tragedy cast its shadow over the harmonious tapestry of her life. Mrs. Anderson, the anchor of her existence, slipped away quietly, leaving Emily to grapple with a grief as profound as the melodies they once created together. The harmonious rhythms of harmony were replaced by a dissonant silence, and the chords of her heart were forever changed. The funeral, a somber crescendo of tears and shared memories, marked the final goodbye to the woman who had been both Emily's rock and the maestro of their musical escapades. Richard, emotionally stoic, yet burdened by the weight of loss, made the fateful decision to uproot Emily from the familiar embrace of harmony and transplant her into the heart of the bustling city. The small town's charm, the comforting embrace of childhood friends, and the timeless melodies seemed like fragments of a distant dream. The city's relentless pulse, towering skyscrapers, and faceless crowds became the new backdrop to Emily's life. It was a jarring transition, a shift from the familiar cadence of small-town existence to the dissonant symphony of urban chaos. Emily, now a fish out of water, faced the challenges of adapting to city life. The streets that once whispered secrets now roared with the cacophony of traffic, and the serenity of nature was replaced by the constant hum of city lights. School became a maze of unfamiliar faces and stringent schedules, a stark departure from the open classrooms and friendly camaraderie she had known. Yet despite the hurdles, Emily excelled academically. Her determination to honor the memory of Mrs. Anderson fueled her pursuit of knowledge. In the quiet hours of the night, she pored over textbooks, seeking solace in the familiar pursuit of intellectual growth. The notes of success played in the form of high grades and commendations, a testament to her resilience in the face of adversity. However, academic triumphs could not fill the void left by the absence of her grandmother and the simplicity of harmony. Emily found herself yearning for the warmth of familiar faces, the laughter of Lily and Sarah, and the grounding presence of Miss Anderson. The city's towering structures seemed to amplify her sense of isolation, and the shadows of grief clung to her like a relentless mist. In the midst of her challenges, Emily discovered a sanctuary in the city's libraries and parks, places where the symphony of nature could still be heard. It was during one of these solitary strolls that she stumbled upon a music store, its windows adorned with instruments that seemed to beckon her. The familiar sight of a piano, similar to the one in Mrs. Anderson's living room, ignited a spark within her. As Emily tentatively touched the keys, the piano whispered a melody that resonated with the depths of her soul. The act of creating music became a cathartic release, a way for her to bridge the gap between the past and the piano became her confidant, a silent witness to the symphony of her emotion. As Emily's fingers danced on the keys, a realization dawned. Music was her compass, guiding her through the labyrinth of grief and change. The melodies she created became a bridge connecting the serene memories of harmony with the chaotic rhythms of the city. The next chapter of Emily's journey was poised to unfold, each note a step toward healing and rediscovering the harmony that seemed lost in the echoes of tragedy. The city, with its relentless pace and towering structures, had become the backdrop to Emily's evolving symphony. Amidst the cacophony, an unexpected thaw began to weave its way into the fabric of her relationship with Richard. The weight of shared grief seemed to have softened the edges of their emotional distance, creating a space for understanding to bloom. Richard, burdened by the loss of his mother and witnessing the resilience of his daughter in the face of adversity, found anew. The once distant ship mechanic began to see Emily not as a mere extension of his past, but as a young woman navigating her own unique melody through the challenges life presented. A pivotal moment occurred when Emily, cautiously stepping into the vulnerability that accompanies healing, shared her newfound sanctuary. The piano store. The admission laden with unspoken emotions opened a door. Richard, who had always been a spectator in Emily's musical pursuits, found a common ground that promised to bridge the emotional gap. Their evenings transformed into a shared exploration of music. Richard, with calloused hands that once only knew the language of machinery, discovered the delicate dance of piano keys. Emily, in turn, felt the warmth of connection as her father became a participant in the creation of their evolving family symphony. As the thaw deepened, Emily seized the opportunity to express a desire that had been quietly echoing in her heart. She longed to return to Harmony, the small town that held the echoes of her childhood and the key to unlocking the dormant melodies of her past. With a newfound vulnerability, she approached Richard with a plea to let her spend time in her favorite town. Her argument was more than a simple desire for nostalgia. It was a quest to reconnect with the roots that once nurtured her spirit. Emily painted vivid pictures of the cobblestone streets, the familiar faces of Lily and Sarah, and the comforting embrace of the town that held the essence of her true self. Richard, recognizing the earnestness in his daughter's eyes, felt a twinge of remorse for uprooting her in the first place. After moments of contemplation, Richard, now a more present and understanding father, acquiesced. He saw this journey back to Harmony not as an escape, but as a necessary pilgrimage for Emily to rediscover her identity amidst the harmonious echoes of her past. As the city's relentless hum faded into the background, Emily found herself on the familiar paths of Harmony. The air seemed to carry the melodies of her childhood, and the faces that once felt like distant memories now greeted her with open arms. The reunion with Lily and Sarah was a chorus of joy, a crescendo that echoed the depth of their enduring friendship. In Harmony, Emily embarked on a journey of rediscovery, tracing the footsteps of her childhood and unraveling the threads that connected her to the town's timeless charm. The melodies of her past intertwined with the present, creating a harmonious blend that seemed to heal the wounds of displacement. The thaw in her relationship with Richard marked the beginning of a new movement in their shared symphony, one where understanding, connection, and the rediscovery of roots would become the driving forces. The stage was set for Emily to navigate the delicate balance between the serenity of Harmony and the dynamic rhythms of the city, forging a harmony that transcended the boundaries of time and space. As Emily embraced the comforting arms of Harmony, a new character entered the stage, disrupting the delicate balance she sought. Grace, now introduced as Emily's stepmother, emerged from the shadows, offering to fill the void left by Richard's frequent absences. The once serene harmony of Emily's life now faced dissonant chords as Grace entered the narrative. Grace, with her polished exterior and carefully chosen words, stepped into the role of caretaker during Richard's frequent departures for work. At first glance, she seemed like a benevolent presence, offering a semblance of stability in the midst of Emily's evolving journey. Yet, beneath the surface, questions lingered about Grace's motives. Tension simmered beneath the veneer of familial cordiality. Emily, navigating the complexities of her own identity and yearning for the warmth of her past, found herself at odds with this new addition to her family. Grace's intentions, shrouded in ambiguity, raised a veil of uncertainty that cast a shadow over the once harmonious family dynamic. The dissonance manifested in subtle ways: a strained smile, a hesitation in Grace's voice, and the occasional clash of opinions. Emily, sensitive to the nuances of human interaction, sensed an undercurrent of tension, leaving her to question the authenticity of Grace's caring facade. The walls of the city seemed to have crumbled, only to be replaced by invisible barriers within her own home. As Emily delved deeper into the intricacies of her familial dynamic, she couldn't shake the feeling that Grace's motives were veiled in secrecy. The late-night whispers and closed-door conversations fueled Emily's growing suspicion, creating a discordant undertone that resonated through the once harmonious household. The pivotal moment arrived when a seemingly innocuous disagreement escalated into a full-blown confrontation. Accusations, fueled by unspoken grievances and unaddressed suspicions, echoed through the walls of the house. Emily found herself at the center of a storm, her sense of self colliding with Grace's enigmatic presence. The tension reached a crescendo, drawing the attention of those within earshot and even catching the notice of the town's watchful eyes. The dissonance between Emily and Grace had become a palpable force, threatening to rupture the fragile bonds that held the family together. In the midst of the turmoil, the echoes of Lily and Sarah's advice from the past resonated in Emily's mind. Their shared music, a symbol of friendship and resilience, became a guiding force in this turbulent moment. Emily, determined to uncover the truth behind the dissonance, embarked on a journey to unravel the mysteries surrounding Grace's motives. As the stage was set for the unveiling of hidden truths, Emily confronted the dissonance within her family, each revelation a note in the unfolding symphony of her life. The questions that had lingered in the shadows would soon demand answers, and the harmony she sought would be tested in the crucible of truth. The curtains rose on a new act, where the clash of chords hinted at a resolution that would either mend the strained relationships or deepen the rift within the familial symphony. The dissonance that had silently brewed within the walls of Emily's new family home erupted into an unsettling crescendo. Grace, the enigmatic stepmother, unveiled a symphony of accusations against Emily, painting her as the orchestrator of familial discord. The once promised harmony seemed to shatter into a cacophony of blame and resentment. Grace's accusations ranged from seemingly trivial transgressions to deeply personal attacks on Emily's character. The echoes of their clashes reverberated through the house, leaving Richard caught in the crossfire of conflict. Emily, grappling with the weight of unfounded accusations, felt the very foundations of her newfound stability crumbling beneath her. As the discord escalated, the small town of Harmony, once a haven of familiarity, became the backdrop to a growing storm of gossip and whispers. The watchful eyes that had once embraced Emily's return now observed with a mixture of concern and curiosity. The small town charm morphed into a claustrophobic stage, where every misstep, every raised voice, became a note in the unsettling composition of Emily's unraveling world. In a shocking turn of events, the growing tension reached a crescendo that transcended the confines of their private drama. Police involvement, a dissonant chord in the family symphony, introduced an element of uncertainty that cast doubt on Grace's intentions. By accusations, now taking a legal turn, painted a complex narrative that blurred the lines between truth and manipulation. The watchful eyes of the town, once passive observers, now fueled the flames of speculation as the investigation unfolded. Emily, caught in the whirlwind of escalating tensions, faced a daunting challenge, proving her innocence and uncovering the motives behind Grace's accusation. As the investigation delved deeper into the family dynamics, the thin veneer of Grace's facade began to crack. The whispers of the town's rumor mill hinted at a history that Grace desperately sought to conceal. Emily, navigating the complexities of truth and deception, found herself on a quest to unravel the web of lies that threatened to end. Amidst the chaos, Lily and Sarah, true friends from Emily's past, re-entered the stage. Their unwavering support became a source of strength for Emily, a reminder of the harmonious bonds that could weather the storms of life together. They embarked on a journey to unveil the truth, navigating the maze of conflicting narratives and half-truths. The resolution loomed on the horizon, a moment when the tangled threads of deception would be unraveled and the harmony Emily sought would be restored. The watchful town, now privy to the unraveling drama, awaited the final notes of a symphony that promised closure and understanding. As Emily faced the daunting task of confronting the accusations, she stood at the intersection of past and present. The resolution of this tumultuous chapter would not only determine the fate of her familial relationships, but would also set the stage for the final movement. A poignant conclusion where the echoes of the past would find harmony with the present, allowing Emily to reclaim the serenity she thought was lost forever.